Tom Vasel's top 100 games of all time. Some say that Tom is like a giant among men. Others say he's a little obsessed.
I don't even have a top 10.
Tom Vasel's top 100 games of all time.
Hey, we're back.
How you doing?
If you've watched the last top 10, you'll see that I was somewhat mocked. Here we go into the top 20, okay? These are all great games.
To him.
The first game is new to the top 100, number 20.
Whoa.
Isn't that interesting? There's actually 2 games in today's top 10 list. No, there are 3 games.
Brand new.
And brand new.
Wow.
Brand new games that hit the top 20. Here we go.
Let's settle down now into the top 20. Number 20, Lords of Waterdeep.
Game that hit the top 20, which is number 20, is not a new game. In fact, last year I considered it for my top 100, and I said, nah, it made like 125 or something.
Okay.
But with the expansion that came out this summer for it, it really pumped up the strategy for it, and I like it a lot. Yes, I will argue that the Dungeons & Dragons theme is somewhat light on this game, but I think it's a solid worker placement game, Lords of Waterdeep. It's super fun. I love it every time I play it. When it first, you don't like it at all?
No. I would put this game anywhere near my house, never mind top 100.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. 20? 20?
Now you like this one, right?
No, I like it.
Ah, it's about time that you're the negative one.
It most definitely will not beat TI3.
Right, well, which
Really? Is that what we're going to hear about every game from now on? How did that beat TI3? How did that beat TI3?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But no, I'm
No,
not
I
gonna
mean,
do that,
it's so... This is like the layman's worker. It's like the sad person's worker placement.
No,
Like,
it's not.
You couldn't get any other worker placement game? All right, buddy, here you go. Move some cubes around. Feel good about yourself.
Okay. Z's going to mock this, but I'm telling you, with the expansion, I think it really changes things. There's a lot more options, a lot more choices. It easily shot up, and also... He talks about the cubes, having to replace them with little guys. That's a dumb little thing, but it does change the game a little bit for me. All right.
At least, it beat Agricola. I'm happy about that. That's the one thing I can say is a redeeming quality.
He only beat it by 1.
Let's get to number 19.
By 1. It barely did.
Number 19 is a tie between Twilight Struggle and 1989.
I'm going to cheat. And now you'll find out that I've actually done my top 101 games. Because I put 2 games for number 19.
How dare you!
Well,
Broken.
they're almost the same game in how they feel, and I couldn't tell you which one was better than the other.
Okay.
One is 1989, and the other is Twilight Struggle. Now, you haven't played 1989, but you definitely played Twilight Struggle,
Yes.
and you haven't played either one of them. These are heavy games. They're some of the heaviest games on my top 100 list, period. And they're 2-player, which, I'll tell you, the first time I saw Twilight Struggle, I said, not really for me. But what drew me in was the communist versus free world theme. And I like that theme.
He's got to be careful about that pause. The thing that drew me in was the communists. Versus...
All right.
What? Dude, red?
But the game is... If I had to do if we ever do top 10 list of games that have a historical flavor, that might be my number 1, because it's so strong of the theme, and it's great. I mean, and it's basically a Euro game in a sense, because you're fighting for area control all over the world, and you have cards and things. 1989 is a very similar game, but it's a much more focused game. Basically, it's based on Eastern Europe in 1989, when all the countries had the fall of communism, and the communism player is basically trying to slow that down, and the other players try to do them. And it's a much more concentrated. It's probably a little bit better of a game than Twilight Struggle, maybe, but I still like the theme of Twilight Struggle better. If I was only allowed to keep one, I'd probably keep Twilight Struggle, because I relate to the theme better, having grown up in the 80s, I'd rather be red than dead type thing. But
I was just thinking about all the t-shirts. Kill a commie for mommy and...
what?
The only good red is a dead red or something like that.
Okay, yeah. Well, there was all that stuff, and since then I grew up in that, and I saw the fall of the Berlin Wall. We saw Cuba and all the events that went on with there, and especially now being here in South Florida.
Right.
And you know, I don't know. I think they're both very solid games, and they're not ones I'll bring out all the time. There's only a few people I'll actually play them with because they are in depth, but they're good games.
Cool.
Come on, you gotta get. This is a top 20 caliber game.
This is top 20 caliber game. Yeah, that's good.
All right, moving on.
Try the struggle is good. Well done, sir.
Number 18, Ghost Stories.
Number 18 is another co-op game. A lot of those on my list, but this is certainly, this might be my top highest co-op game. And it is. No, it's not. It's my second highest co-op game. No, it's my third. Oh, no. All right. It's Ghost Stories. Ghost Stories is a great game. I know you like Ghost Stories, and I know you like Ghost Stories. No, you don't. You don't like it that much. But you like it.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
You think it's too hard?
It's like shoving an ice pick under your fingernails.
So difficult.
Yes.
Because, yeah, it's difficult.
It's hard. I mean, and it's painful. It hurts.
I really like it.
I mean, your own finger. Oh!
Okay, get off
someone else.
Get off the illustration. Off the illustration. Okay, look, I like it because I like the White Moon expansion a lot. The Black Secret is okay. It adds some cool stuff, but I like the White Moon. It almost makes it a whole new game.
Yeah. Second one too, the Black Secret.
Well, yeah, that does too, but I don't think it's as good as White Moon. White Moon just was like, wow. Try to get, and it's entertaining. It gives you that feeling of, you know, as they just keep coming in and coming after you.
It's a mean old game. It's a great co-op. It's probably my second favorite co-op, I think.
It looks great. I do like the cooperative nature of it, but it's just one of those co-op games to where I never felt confident that we were going to do well.
Have you won the game?
No. I played.
Well, that's only because the very first time we played 4 times in a row, and by the time we got to the 4th time, he was done. Okay,
he went 4 times in a row. That'd probably make me sick of that game too.
We were so determined to win. We won after he left, but it wasn't because he left. But it was just because we finally won.
Right.
So, all right.
I don't know. I'd rather play almost any other co-op game.
But I really like it. Well, here's another co-op for you.
Number 17, Sentinels of the Multiverse.
This is a co-op game. I forgot. This one was 28 last year. Now it's up to 17. And that's because I'm a big fan of the superhero genre. And I'm pretty sure you both aren't nearly as big a fan of this game as I am. And that's Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Oh, okay.
I really like it. I love all the characters. They keep adding these characters, and the characters have such a great flavor to them, and they feel like they're their own characters. I mean, sure, you can play a guy and you're saying, oh, this guy's kind of like Iron Man. This guy's kind of like Superman, kind of, but not exactly. Well, yeah, Bunker's a lot like Iron Man, but he's not exactly. And a lot of the newer ones they're coming out with are very unique, and I think that's cool. And they've even written some comic books in that universe, and they're going to have a board game set in that universe.
Wow.
And I really like it. I think it has a cool artwork style, but it has a strong, of all the superhero games I've ever played, it has one of the strongest superhero feels to it. You're sitting there punching the bad guy and the minions and whatever. I know, not top 20 material.
No. I just don't really like the game then.
And you're not a big fan of it either, are you?
It was okay. It's okay. Yeah, I wouldn't put it in my top 100.
I think I played it with Z, and he was like, "Oh, I was expecting something much more spectacular after all your talk about it."
I played it very late. I mean, it was already all the buzz, and I finally played it with you, and I thought, oh, okay, that's neat, but forgettable for me.
All right.
Number 16, Marvel Legendary.
Another game that's new to the list, and another game that's about superheroes. Marvel Legendary. I am really, really, really enjoying this game lately. Because, and this is what's funny, if it comes down to straight the way how they feel like a superhero game, I think Sentinels does it better for superhero flavor. But for game purposes, I really get a kick out of the Marvel one. And I also like the...
This is a better design? Is that what you mean?
I think so. But not only is it... But I mean, barely. I mean, we're talking... They're one away from each other. I could play one day and one the other. Yeah. But with Marvel Legendary, they have two expansions out. And I think there was 4 masterminds in the first one, 3 in the second one, and 2 in the next one, so that's like 9 masterminds. And then there's like 20 different scenarios that you can play.
Right.
So that's 180 different starting setups.
Right.
And that doesn't even include the different villain groups versus the different hero groups. I mean, we're talking like infinity combinations. And that's just with 2 expansions.
Yeah.
And yet each one feels different. Sometimes there's clones. Sometimes Galactus is just sitting there trying to blow up the world.
Doing a very good job at it.
Yeah. Sorry, folks. We failed you. But I really enjoy it, and I think it has a lot of good legs. And maybe someday the DC people will take the license away from Cryptozoic and give it to Upper Deck. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Oh, and not only that, but they're going to be making an Aliens version of it, which is kind of, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I saw that. We'll see.
Yeah.
And possibly Firefly.
Huh.
That would be interesting. We'll see.
This is actually the game I was thinking of when you were going over Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Well, I thought you would think that. That's why I quick jumped in.
I was saying I'd much rather play Legendary than Sentinels.
And I agree. I like this better.
All right.
Number 15, Star Trek Fleet Captains.
This game was 12 last year, 9 the year before that. Now it's 15, so barely dropping, It wasn't a top 10. And I love this one. We just talked about it in our top 10 list. I love this one for theme over everything else, and that's Star Trek Fleet Captains. Just a straight theme of Star Trek. When I first played it, I was just wowed. And I know you're a Star Trek hater, but this is Star Trek in a box.
I love how I get labeled so quickly.
But you're so much fun to label.
I like Star Wars better than
I'm
Star
away from the
Trek.
mean man.
I like Star Wars better than Star Trek. It doesn't mean that I hate Star Trek.
No, you don't. You like watching the
So
Star
when
Trek
did you
movies.
start hating Star Trek?
Should he be laying on a couch?
I'm going to pluck your beard out.
Tell me, how does that make you feel?
Angry.
He's getting angry. Okay.
You're not going to like me when I'm angry.
Now we're back to Marvel. But look, really, if you don't get this game because you're like, oh, I want to see the cool game mechanics. I mean, there's some cool stuff, I guess, in it. But it's all about, do you like Star Trek? If you don't like Star Trek, don't play it. But if you do,
Got it.
It's wonderful.
Number 14, El Grande.
It's a game that's been on the list forever. It was once in the top 10. Last year it was 38. And now it's back up to 14 because I played it a few times this year. And unlike the last one I like on sheer basis of theme. This one I like on sheer basis of mechanisms, and that's El Grande. I think it is a great area control game. Every time I play it, I have a blast. I think it's great with 3, 4, 5 players. It's mean. It's cutthroat. It's cubes, which is something I'm often yelling about, cubes in games. But this one, it just works. And I think it's solid. It's strong. I wouldn't say heavy, but it leans towards. I mean, it's easy to teach.
Like medium heavy, yeah.
But the strategy in it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's I think the definitive area control game.
Wasn't it like one of the first ones also?
I know. Well, that's kind of the way it is in board game business. The one that's first is often the best. Magic the Gathering, Dominion. I mean, not the best, but they often define the genre usually.
Well, by definition, that's what that means.
Shut up.
First.
Yeah, I know. But sometimes, like it didn't happen in worker placement.
Yeah, it did. Isn't it Kalis the first?
Kalis wasn't the first one. There was a few before that. What are they? You don't know.
No.
Point. Proven.
Look,
Yes.
deck building games, Dominion was also not the first one. You know what game has deck building in it? StarCraft, the board game. Does anybody remember that? No.
Nope.
It wasn't only that, but it had that in it. Anyway. What game were we talking about? What
I believe the
crud
word
were we
you're looking
talking?
for is touche.
El Grande.
El Grande, right. I'm just surprised it's this high in your list, I have to say. I like El Grande. It's a fine game, but I guess I just didn't realize it would be this high on your list.
As far as area control and cubes and all that, why did this beat Wallenstein?
Oh, streamlined. I like Wallenstein, and I think Wallenstein has all these cool mechanics in it and stuff, but El Grande is play a card, put cubes down, do one special action. And it just works so well. Now, yes, there's been times where Wallenstein has been higher, but I'm telling you, I played them both this year now, and playing them both over the course of the year, it was easier to compare them.
Okay.
Number 13, Kemet.
Thanks. All right. This one here is another one that's brand new to the list, and I love this game, and I played it a lot this year, and since I think I've wrangled both of you to play it, I don't think either of you liked it as much as me, but it has great miniatures, it has upgrades, it's designed by the same, it's from Matago, and I think their games have some of the best components ever,
okay.
And that's Kemet. I think Kemet is just phenomenal. I really like it. I love playing it. It's a light war game, kind of. It's area control, kind of. It packs a lot of game, but it has a very definitive start and end. It doesn't go on forever.
Right.
It lets you control a giant elephant and a giant stag beetle. I get a kick out of that stuff.
Giant snake. And
Yeah.
Scorpion.
And wait till they just came out with an upgrade thing that you can use the monsters from. Kaiklates, the ogre and all that stuff. Oh, it's good.
That crossover.
Man, it's gonna be so cool. I just love it. I know that that seems pretty high for you guys, but I just enjoyed it.
No, that's
and
cool. I've only played it the one time I played with you. Is that the only time you've played, Sam?
I think so.
And I thought it was... I have to say I was a little disappointed, but only because Tom had talked it up so much.
That's one of my problems. I'm like, this game's so good.
Oh, that's okay. It's just a perception thing. But it was a little, mechanically speaking, the way everything was sort of laid out for me, it was a little kludgy for me. I was like, oh man, I'm not feeling this like boom boom and I'm there, and the fighting wasn't really, I wasn't wowed by that card mechanism that everybody...
Lost.
No, I don't care about that. The card mechanism that everybody seemed to be wowed about. Like I attack, but I take few...
No, the card thing is okay. I like that. I like the upgrades. That by far is my favorite thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because I can upgrade my own stuff. Mm-hmm. And I also like the fact that you can't turtle in the game. I like any game that forces you to attack.
Yeah.
Like, I've always loved, what's the one? The little one with bugs and you're fighting each
Nexus
other.
Ops.
Nexus Ops. I've always liked that idea that brought forth.
Yeah, yeah. I like that better. I like that way better.
All right. Well, anyway, number 13 is Kemet.
I was able to squeak out a win on that game. I remember now.
So
The guy that was sitting next to me thought he won,
he did.
and he didn't.
Army of One, baby.
Number 12 is also a tie between Commands and Colors and Memoir 44.
Okay, this is actually the top 102 games.
Oh,
Another tie.
Y and C.
Deal with this cheating.
This is the last tie. There's only 2 ties.
One more party
That
game.
was too many.
Okay. Look, well, these are hard for me to tell, but
You
although
hate ties.
I
You hate ties. Why do you include ties in your list?
I know, but I couldn't. I had to give an award to everybody.
No,
Okay,
you
look.
don't.
These 2 games are similar and yet very different. They're designed by the same. Richard Borg designed both of them. And I know which one you like better, but you like Memoir 44.
Yes.
So Memoir 44 and Hera and Zeus.
Command and Colors.
Commands and Colors Ancients. Now, those are 2 of, he also did Battle Cry, Civil War 1, and he also did the Napoleonic and Battle Lore, and those 3 are fine games, but these 2 stand head and shoulders above the other ones.
Okay.
Memoir, because simple, fun, and the Overlord of Memoir, if I ranked it just for Overlord scenarios, it would go almost like in the top 3. That's how much fun an Overlord scenario of Memoir is.
Yeah. Overlord is really.
It's great. Commands and Colors, though, 2-player, I think, has a much deeper, more tactical, and has a lot more formations moving then in Memoir you can drive one set of tanks around and do what you want.
Right.
And in Command and Colors you have to keep your units together. And they're both good. They use the same basic system. And you like the miniatures probably better in Memoir. That beats blocks too.
Right.
So it's really a toss-up. If I was forced to keep one of them, I don't know which one I would keep. Like right now, if you ask me right now,
Figure it out, because we're taking one with us.
whichever one you take, you're going to break your bag. That Memoir bag is so heavy, and the Commands and Colors is like
Keep
this.
Memoir, because I'm not carrying all that stuff.
No, have you seen
the other
any
ones,
boxes?
Memoir comes in a bag. You're going to carry multiple boxes if you take Command and Colors.
That's right.
Okay.
Anyway,
keep
they're
them
both great games, both number 12.
Yeah, I guess I would.
cheating. Yeah, we know.
Command and Colors would probably not be on my list. I probably would pick one from that.
Family.
That-
I know you love Memoir. You got burned out on it a little bit lately, haven't you? Or
No, I haven't really had the time to play. I mean, that's the only difference. I mean, I think about playing Memoir all the time.
Moving on.
And number 11, Yomi.
Number 11 was number 13 last year, number 12 the year before that. I don't know what attracted me to this game so very much. I liked Street Fighter as a kid. Yomi. I just love
That's high.
I just like it. I mean, I love taking a deck, throwing it down, and playing it against the other person. I played it against you like multiple times, haven't I?
Played a bunch of times. I think
so
when
that-
you first.
That is like on like 4 times speed, right?
No.
Because you've got to read the card and yeah, that's what I want to do. Every time you play a
Yeah.
card, there's so much on the card.
No. I agree on that.
You're very busy. The design is why?
Horrible.
Oh, why, Mr.
No.
Serlin?
No.
Did you make them poker decks. How many people play your cards to enjoy poker with them?
Okay. Actually, though, sometimes that does matter because you play the doubles and the triples and things. I will say though that if you're a game designer and you're designing a game, you're like, I'll also make this a poker deck. Nobody's ever going to buy your game and sit there and go, I need a poker deck. Hey, wait, such and such a game, and I'll pull it out and play it. It never happens. So don't do it. But I think in this game, the poker hands came into play
I know
sometimes.
he uses the numbers, but do any of the decks use the suits?
The suits mattered for what kind of attack it was many times.
Okay. Well,
Okay, anyway, I thought it was good. And yes, you had to read the cards, but once you played the deck a couple times, you knew them all. It wasn't like there was that many different cards in the deck.
See, but it brings me back to the same kind of idea that Race for the Galaxy has. Mm-hmm. It's a good game, yeah, but it's so hard to teach and it's so hard for people to grasp.
I think actually Yomi's way easier to teach.
I understand that.
I know
but
what he's saying. The symbols are a
It's
little.
in the same category of.
There's a lot of symbols, a little speed and knockdown.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little symbols. You have to sort of figure it all in.
Just really
I'm
hard.
just surprised it's this high on the
Really
list. I
hard,
like Yomi. It's a neat 2-player game, but
I do
man,
too.
11? Wow.
All right, well, let's get to the top 10.
Well, he can be wrong all he wants.
That was better? Better? You
That
guys
was
didn't
better
give
than
me-
the last. Wasn't the last one the really like awful one?
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
The funny thing, just to mock you, he put TI3 right in the middle of it.
I know, right?
It's like party games,
It's
party games,
like party
TI3.
game, party game.
All right, no, I didn't. Okay.
Mess with your mind.
The thing is, though, we're going to get anticlimactic because you guys know several of the games in my top 10. But here we go.
Some say that Tom is like a giant among men. Others say he's a little obsessed.
I don't even have a top 10.
Tom Vasel's top 100 games of all time.
I think I might be a little too relaxed. Ah. I can't get up. Hang on.